Welcome back to Game on Hay. Time now to turn our attention to the South Africans, who are England's opposition later tonight in Sharjah. That's the second game of the day. And just to remind you all, of course, South Africa still have their hopes of qualifying for the semi-finals. England want to just make sure that their position at the top of the table stays intact. But it should be a cracking contest. So if we start looking at the strengths of South Africa, one of their men who's been in pretty good form so far is Aiden Markram, who started the tournament well, and he, I think, is probably the most likely of those South African batsmen at the current moment, although they do have others, of course, who would like to think they are also in the frame. He is probably the most likely to put a score on the board here tonight, only because he seems to have mastered these conditions better than some over the last couple of weeks.
Well, he spent time at the crease, and I think he has been the go-to man where the South African batting is concerned. One of the individuals that I felt haven't really come to the party as yet is de Kock, and we all know what a magnificent player he is. Pretorius, I guess he bowled well so far, and he's classified as being an all-rounder, a big hitter to some extent, but we haven't seen none of that as yet. So I guess there's quite a lot to play for. We would have seen the captain Bavuma, who would have found some sort of nick of such.
Yeah, just looking at Markram's wagon wheel. We're looking at Jos Buttler just now, who was so very, very strong through the onside. And it seems to be an area where if you're going to succeed in this tournament on these pitches, that's a big thing to have. A few more through the offside for Aiden Markram. But looking at the way people have bowled, especially at Sharjah, you need to be able to muscle it at times. I mean, he's a good timer of the ball, Aaqib. He plays some, what you might call proper cricket shots as well through the offside. But anyone who's going to succeed in Sharjah, for instance, later tonight, needs that variety of shot making.
Hit straight in front of your eyes, what you always mention, because when ball is staying low, slow, sweep shots or proper cut shot is not there. You won't find any shots in the offside. So I think he's the one who's in touch, who can negotiate spin at the same time the pace. I think we wanted to see more of more performance from de Kock and Miller.
Yeah, Miller.
Well, Miller's finished off one game.
Pretty well, yeah.
Yeah, but I think if they want a big score, then they need to, put him number 4 or 5. Give him a chance, because what we can see is 12 over of spin from England. So far, what are the stats are, means if they 6 and over, they all three are lesser than 6 and over economy. So they can make like 72 of 12 overs of spin and 8 overs of pace, means even 8 and over, they're going to end up like less than 140. If you compare South African bowling lineups, they have 2 spinners. Shamsi is number 1 spinner, no doubt, but they need to use Markram in there, because pace bowling is easier to handle than spin in Sharjah. So I think comparison with 2 teams, still England is superior in terms of options, matchups.
Yeah,
they have more options than any other team.
Yeah, and I think you're right. I mean, de Kock, we know, can be a very fine player, but he's just not been in the runs at all in the tournament. Had that controversy about taking the knee, so had some distraction. Whether that's affected him, only he will know. Hendricks has had the odd score. Van der Dussen has had the odd score. Markram's been the most consistent. Bavuma's last couple of innings have been good. So, and then you get down to the likes of Miller and Pretorius. David Miller finished off the other day. So I mean, there's enough batting there if they have a good day.
Well, it is a good team. They've played well so far, and I just believe that you need to get some from the top order, and we haven't seen that as I guess South Africa would have liked. It all happens to be around de Kock.
Yeah,
he's an individual that he can make you pay during that power play.
Yeah, because look, if you don't utilize first 6 overs, it's really hard, having a big total on the board, especially in Sharjah. Middle overs are very crucial. In 6 overs, you can use off that restriction of field, And in the middle, it's really hard part until the last 5-6 overs when the 5 power comes in. So that's important. The why Buma is being doing good because in the middle overs there's no pressure of having big hits, so he's taking his singles. But I think they should promote Miller a little bit, like numbers 5. If he goes well, I think they can put a good total on the board.
When you look at Reese Hendricks, he's pretty much a conventional player. He doesn't look to go too big too early. Just look to tuck it around. I take your point. I think if South Africa needs to get to a reasonably respectful total, Miller needs to be up there fine from early. And it's an opportunity for him to do so.
Yeah, and if South Africa has to go big today, we will be talking about Quinton de Kock. उनकी career summary के ऊपर भी बात करेंगे क्योंकि ये बड़े important player होंगे South Africa के लिए अगर आज के मैच में उन्होंने अपने आप को सेमीफाइनल में कंफर्म करना है. 421 innings क्विंटन de Kock की हैं, 7,000 रन्स बना चुके हैं, बड़ी इनिंग्स खेलने की सलाहियत भी रखते हैं. 126 सबसे ज़्यादा स्कोर इनका रहा है, 400 हैं, 44-50 हैं इनकी. पर ये जो सारे स्टैट्स हैं अगर आप देखें राइट आर्म पेस के अगेंस्ट आप इनकी एवरेज देखें 39 की है, बाउंड्री परसेंटेज सबसे ज़्यादा है. ऑफ स्पिनर्स के अगेंस्ट अगर आप देखें तो एवरेज 26 की है, यहाँ पे बाउंड्री परसेंटेज थोड़ी सी ड्रॉप करती है. लेफ्ट आर्म स्पिनर्स के अगेंस्ट एवरेज बहुत अच्छी है, लेफ्ट ऑर्थोडॉक्स के अगेंस्ट बहुत अच्छी है, लेग स्पिनर के अगेंस्ट भी कम है. तो राशिद भाई मैचअप सबसे ज़्यादा इंग्लैंड यूज करता है. अगर इसी ग्राफ को आप मजीद और
देखिए ऑफ स्पिनर पे देखते हैं तो इनका स्ट्राइक रेट 110 है जो कि इनके स्टैंडर्ड से कम नजर आ रहा है. और मोइन अली इनको लगता है कि आके न्यू बॉल कर सकते हैं. लेकिन हम राइट आर्म लेग स्पिनर पे अगर आते हैं उसमें 117 कदरे बेहतर है लेकिन ज़्यादा फर्क नहीं पड़ता. डॉट बॉल रेशियो ऑफ स्पिनर पे देखनी पड़ेगी हमें कि इनकी 40% इनके डॉट खेलते हैं, 36.5% ये लेग स्पिनर पे खेलते हैं. तो लगता है कि इंग्लिश बॉलर्स आके इनको अटैक करेंगे मोइन अली अगर खेलते हैं या क्योंकि ये मेन प्लेयर हैं. ये अगर 6 ओवर से निकल गए तो बहुत डेंजरस प्लेयर हो सकते हैं क्विंटन. और इनसे बड़ा स्कोर हुआ नहीं है अभी. और ये ऐसे प्लेयर हैं जो कि 2-3 प्लेयर हैं, मार्करम हो गए या क्विंटन हो गए, ये ऐसे प्लेयर हैं जो कि इंग्लैंड को हरा सकते हैं, जो कि बहुत ही ज़बरदस्त प्लेयर हैं. बैटिंग ऑर्डर पे बात करते हैं, मार्करम नंबर 4 नंबर 5 पे खेल रहे हैं. जो स्टैट्स बताते हैं या जो कि इनका स्ट्राइक रेट है नंबर 3 या नंबर 2 के ये आइडियल प्लेयर हैं. इनको जो डूसन खेल रहे हैं उनको नंबर 5 या नंबर 6 पे लाना पड़ेगा क्योंकि वो एंड पे बहुत अच्छा खेल सकते हैं. क्योंकि स्पिनर्स पे उनका भी स्ट्राइक रेट थोड़ा बहुत इशू है जो कि नजर आएगा आपको आगे जाके.
अगर हम वेंडर डूसन को भी उनकी भी करियर समरी को देख सकें,
देखिए डूसन को देखेंगे हम लेफ्ट आर्म स्पिनर पे ठीक है 127 स्ट्राइक रेट है. लेकिन राइट आर्म लेग स्पिनर पे अगर हम देखते हैं 106 लाइक आदिल रशीद इसको अटैक करेगा कि अगर नंबर 3 आते हैं और क्विंटन और ये साथ खेल रहे हो, मोइन अली और आदिल आ गए तो फिर इनका हमें देखना पड़ेगा कि दोनों की पार्टनरशिप कितनी लंबी जाती है और साउथ अफ्रीकन के लिए कितना अच्छा हो सकते हैं. तो ये दोनों साथ अगर खेले तो हमें भी देखने में मजा आएगा आज आदिल रशीद और मोइन अली की बॉलिंग.
अच्छा जो नीचे था चाइना मैन,
चाइना मैन कोई है नहीं ना उनका.
दिस इज द इंडिकेशन टीम शुड look for this.
Yes.
You have plenty of time to develop 1 or 2, and if you see the top 10 ranked bowlers,
8 spinners.
So whoever wants to improve further for the next year or next year World Cup, go for it. Find Chinamen, find spinners.
Your theory is good. The only problem is that you can't just just unearth what you can't say. You look onto Amazon and go, sorry, any other website, sorry, and go, Rob, we need a Chinaman. Okay, how much is that? Click buy. I mean, for instance, I'll tell you some stories. We back in the day, so 20, 30 years ago, when I was England captain, which is a very loose term, it was a very loose captaincy. But we had a selection meeting where I think it was a guy called Alec Betts, a very famous cricketer from the UK, said, what we need is a leg spinner. I said, Chairman, he was Chairman of Selectors, we don't have any leg spinners. And that's the point. You can't just say, we want a Chinaman. someone who can bowl left. Sorry, I mean, that sounds wrong as well. Can't just say we want someone who can bowl left-arm wrist spin if you haven't got any in your system.
If you focus, see, in Pakistan team there is no Chinaman, but I know there are about
Yes,
eight
so many.
to 10 options in Pakistan. It's about trusting them, focusing them, what is important for you.
Yes.
And definitely in England you will find few.
Yeah, and the other thing
But
we did...
it's about the policies. England done after 2015, sending the message right across in the counties. And now I think if they find somebody, must be somebody in there.
I mean, for instance, the other thing, in Test matches, England tried a guy called Ian Salisbury about 15 years ago, who was very good in county cricket because you don't see many leg spinners or wrist spinners in county cricket, and he did well. But as soon as he went up to Test level and bowled 1 or 2 bad balls and over, he was going at 6-7 runs and over, wasn't picking up the wickets.
Even still, the leggies and these Chinamans, they're struggling at the Test level, because Test cricket is all about waiting for the bad ball. And that's why they're more successful in T20s, because T20, there is no good ball and there is no bad ball. It's about how much revolutions you have, how much you can, beat the batsman in the air, off the pitch, because eventually people will go after you. So that's why the wrist spinners are more
I
important.
mean, this is
in the
actually
T20.
the best we've had in England for a long, long time. So, Rashid is very special, and that's because he's been given the backing by a very good captain. Owen Morgan has backed him, trusted him, risked him at times, and he's grown because of it. And Livingston's come in from nowhere, as it were, last couple of years, able to bowl his 4 overs for,
Wrist spinners,
16, 20 runs.
2 in 1.
they need
Two
a
in one.
lot of support from a captain. Captain can make leggies or
Break
just
them.
break them
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
It's all about support.
Especially
because
in T20
you have to have the courage to play a leggy in your team.
And you need to know where to put the fielders.
Yes.
That's the other thing.
Yeah.
Not every captain understands.
Yes, especially
wrist spin that well.
especially in T20 cricket. I mean, as a captain, you have to really back them. And in women's cricket even more, because there's an extra fielder in the circle. You need to have 5 fielders in the circle. So as a spinner and as a captain, it's not very easy there. But with men's cricket, they have one more fielder outside. It was the rules changed a few years ago. But there's another bowler that we have to look at, the brace Shamsi, जिसके बारे में उमर ने कहा है कि ये बड़ा important role play करेंगे. उमर भाई, इनकी बॉलिंग भी देखी और इनका रोल आज के मैच में कितना इम्पोर्टेंट है अगर सेमीफाइनल में साउथ अफ्रीका ने जगह बनानी.
बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है, क्योंकि अगर आप देखें तो रैंक 1 है अभी है, और जो कंडीशन जो डिमांड है, तो ये इस पर काफ़ी वो है. साउथ अफ्रीकन टीम रिलाई कर रही है कि ये फ्रंट से परफॉर्म करें, और परफॉर्म किए भी है. आई थिंक टफ टाइम देख सकते हैं इंग्लैंड बैट्समैनों को. और अगर आप देखें इंग्लैंड साइड पे जोस बटलर ऐसा है कि वो कंसिस्टेंटली रन्स कर रहा है, लेकिन अगर ये ऊपर से जोस बटलर को आउट करता है तो उनके मिडिल ऑर्डर को अभी टेस्ट होना है. क्योंकि लास्ट मैच में भी अगर आप देखें तो जो उसने रन्स किए हैं मॉर्गन ने, स्ट्रगल कर रहा था अगेंस्ट द स्पिनर, लेकिन उस पर वो प्रेशर इतना नहीं था, क्योंकि दूसरे एंड से बटलर अच्छा मार रहा था, उसका स्ट्राइक रेट ऊपर ही था. एंड पे जाके फिर वो ऑलमोस्ट रन बॉल आ गया मॉर्गन, जो कि अगर ये अर्ली ऑन जोस बटलर को आउट करता है तो मे बी कि इंग्लैंड के मिडिल ऑर्डर फिर स्ट्रगल कर सकते हैं. मलान ऑलरेडी,
अगर ये लोग टॉस जीत जाते हैं, क्योंकि जो बटलर ने मैक्सिमम फायदा उठाया था वो सीम बॉलर्स थे श्रीलंका के, जो कि ज्यादा रन्स दे थे. इधर उनको इतना वीक लिंक मिलेगा नहीं इस बॉलिंग में.
बिल्कुल. आप अगर साउथ अफ्रीकन बॉलिंग और उसको कंपैरिजन उसकी करें श्रीलंकन बॉलिंग की, तो ये मोर एक्सपीरियंस, मोर लाइक, अगर पेस वाइज भी आप देखें तो ज्यादा उनसे बेहतर है. इनके एग्जीक्यूशन प्लान की एग्जीक्यूशन बड़ा बेहतर है. आई थिंक टफ टाइम दे सकते हैं, और टोटली डिपेंड करता है. आज अगर ये अर्ली विकेट देते हैं शमसी और महाराज साउथ अफ्रीकन को, तो मे बी के जो इंग्लैंड की बैटिंग है वो टेस्ट हो सकती है. क्योंकि जिस तरह मैं बात कर, मलान स्ट्रगल कर रहा है, क्योंकि उसको एक आध अपॉर्चुनिटी मिली है, लेकिन वो बाउंस की वजह से उसके वो जो बॉल टाइम करता है, बैक फुट जो पंच करता है, वो उसकी तरह वो टाइम उसको नहीं मिल रहा. आई थिंक अर्ली ऑन विकेट अगर ब्रेक थ्रू मिलती है तो मे बी कि इंग्लैंड थोड़ा स्ट्रगल करे अगेंस्ट द स्पिनर्स साउथ अफ्रीका.
और बहुत ही कंप्लीट लाइनअप है साउथ अफ्रीका की बॉलिंग का. अगर हम देखें उनके पास ऑनडेक नोकिया भी हैं, केशव महाराज भी हैं और रबाडा भी हैं, शमसी भी हैं और एक और बॉलर जो फ़र्क ला रहे हैं साउथ अफ्रीका की बॉलिंग में वो प्रेटोरियस हैं, जो श्रीलंका में अगर आप देखें एक उनके पास सीमर कम है पर ये बहुत अच्छी डेथ में बॉलिंग कर रहे हैं. इनका रोल कितना इंपॉर्टेंट होगा राशिद भाई आप भी बताएं. आकिब एंड सर विवियन एंड डेविड, यू कैन ऑल, आई मीन
मेरे ख्याल से आकिब फास्ट बॉलर है, इनको बता दें, लेकिन ये बड़ा मेन रोल है इनका, विकेट ले रहे, विकेट टेकिंग है ये आकिब.
He's not very express bowler, but very intelligent, mixing up, deceiving the batsman with his cutters, slower ones, and on these slow pitches, all the variations. So far, the spinners are performing good, and in the fast bowler, if he runs and bowl that offies, it becomes spin options, isn't it? So I think that's why early on we thought he is the weak link, but become a very strong part of their bowling squad.
Can I ask a question? We've seen Markram have a go early as well. What he bowls, anyone can tell me exactly what's
Offies.
what is his discipline? Because you don't see much of that. It's all about the fingers.
Yeah.
I'd like to know exactly what is qualified, what sort of bowler. We know Shamsi, we know of Rashid being a leg spinner. What? Anyone can tell me exactly?
The simple offie.
He's like Hafiz kind of bowler, you can say.
Yeah.
Offies
discipline
and
with his
slider.
the one you called Mickey Mouse.
Wow.
I think he's more Minnie Mouse than Minnie Mouse.
Yeah, because I look and I'm trying to understand which side of the hand the balls comes out at times. But it's just like a little stuff up there, and batsmen just are afraid of having a real go. There are times where I feel, man, he should be taken
They should,
down.
yeah.
नहीं इसमें आकिब उसमें क्या है कि ऑफिस करके ना वो सीम पे उंगली मारता है जो स्विंग होती है अंदर से थोड़ी
कटर हो जाता है.
कटर
But still easy to
Like
pick,
that,
easy to
that,
hit.
that,
You don't see any real mystery there, do you?
No.
No.
Well, I mean, they have their mystery in Shamsi.
That's right.
And Maharaj, who is a very experienced, orthodox, but still very good slow left arm spinner. So those are obviously their two main men with the spin. And if the circumstances dictate, well, maybe someone like Markram, who is what you call a part-time bowler, which normally sounds like an
And
insult.
if he
but-
bowls 4 and not giving runs, then the
yeah,
team
Well, you can try
need
it.
to play.
You can try it. Obviously,
अगेंस्ट इंग्लैंड आई डोंट थिंक सो ये मैं पावर प्ले में बॉल करेगा, बीच में 2 ओवर कर सकता है जब ये मोगन बैटिंग कर
लेकिन
रहा
देखो ना अगर आपने यू नॉट अटैकिंग शम्सी एंड महाराज एंड here comes Markram bowling in the middle, get away with few.
I think he gets away with murder at times, in my opinion.
Who? Sorry.
That's Markram.
He doesn't bowl. He gets away with everything because he doesn't bowl. His figures are immaculate. There are no runs against him because he hasn't bowled.
He has bowled, but,
No, but not much.
that
Not much.
Yeah,
Not
he
much.
has
No,
bowled.
no.
Come on, David.
He's going to be. So you're in the mystery weapon. Is someone that they won't have thought of because he's not part of their planning.
But the pitches now are off.
Well, I think
Erasmus,
he must be a serious part because there are times where he would open in with the new ball, isn't it? So they must fancy him.
I'll have to do some research. Okay, let's leave that game alone for a moment or two. We're getting to that stage of the day where we can start looking at the first game, which is in Abu Dhabi, Australia against the West Indies. And the first thing we'll get from there just now is the pitch report.
The numbers play a very, very crucial role for a cricketer. Why? Because you have to set them and then you have to chase them. Australia definitely know how to chase a low total, which they've already seen on this surface. I wonder why, because the square boundaries are just 68 meters. But when you have to hit down the ground, you better have a well-timed stroke because they are long and it's a big field. The bowlers have had their say in this tournament, pretty much. I'm joined by another one at the other end, who has a lot of analysis and his point of view. Over to you, Bish.
Yeah, this time this one is a former bowler who has nothing to do with conditions here. But South Africa were limited to 118 and Australia chased it. And that was largely through the efforts of Josh Hazlewood, who was superb up front, bowling that test match length. He will hit well, which can discomfort the best players. So those red deliveries are Hazlewood's interval length, short of a good length. The blue ones are Mitchell Starc, who generally bowls a lot fuller. And I'm standing right now on a good length coming from that end, and I can see just the outline of a few cracks here where Josh Hazlewood will be looking to target. Of course, Stark will be looking to be a bit fuller. So not all pitches are prepared the same way, but if history is anything to go by, batsmen could be challenged on this surface today.
यूफोन 4G की नई वीकली हेवी इंटरनेट ऑफर, जिसके आगे सब लगे हल्का। मिले पूरे हफ्ते के लिए 14 GB इंटरनेट। अभी *270# मिलाओ। पाकिस्तानी नेटवर्क यूफोन 4G के लिए सब कुछ तुम ही तो हो।
फ्री यूट्यूब रोजाना किसी भी 200 रुपए से जायद के पैकेज पर। लेट्स गेट डिजिटल विद ज़ोन 4G।
गोल्डन पर्ल ब्यूटी क्रीम, हुस्ने जाना की तारीफ मुमकिन नहीं।
Wear your attitude. Darren Sami by Oscar Ali.
Now ski milky.